Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Cryptoware, and today we are going to continue with the PDF file analysis. So today we have a very interesting PDF file and we are going to follow the steps that I have discussed before, and we are also going to use an interesting tool which I had disclosed previously too, and it's an open source tool, but we'll be using this tool to analyze the PDF sample a bit more. So this is the sample. As you can see, I have the hash of the sample. So the very first thing that I'll be doing is checking what file type is it. Although I think know that this is a PDF file, PDF document, but still that is the correct step. Also, another thing that I had mentioned was using strings command, which you can use to further analyze or see what is present over there. So yes, there's an entire structure and there are a lot of interesting things over here. And it's difficult to understand completely from here. So we are going to analyze it a bit further on our own. So this is the first time I'm analyzing this sample. So bear with me if I am figuring out what to do because I have not analyzed it before. So let's get started. So the first thing that I'm going to do is check this sample on VT, VirusTotal, and this will give us an idea of what is it. Already we know, obviously we know that this is a PDF file, and we have obviously uh, discussed before that whenever you get a sample that you're not sure of, we should always get it checked on, VirusTotal, and then we can move ahead with further analysis. So we will to VirusTotal. Yeah. So here I'll be pasting this hash, and let's see what does it say. So yes, 39 out of 62 vendors mark it as malicious, and that is very interesting. So we are kind of sure that it is a malicious file. So we have to be, on the lookout of something malicious or some malicious activity. Again, I am not sure whether it is, is it encrypted or if there is something that is unreadable, but we are going to analyze, and we are not getting into the very advanced part right now. Yes, so I've just increased the font. So you can see a lot of scanners tell that this is malicious. Let's see what details are present over here. So it's a file type PDF. We already know the hash is over here. When was it seen first? When was it seen last? Capabilities and indicators. We have discussed about indicators of compromise previously. Some of the names, how it is shared is infected.pdf, x5.bin. See, a lot of times they do not even use the original extensions. So you should always get it checked, either using any hex editors or the file command. Since I'm using Remnux Linux for analyzing these files, so I prefer using the file command. When we'll be moving ahead with, PE files, exe based files, Windows executable files, and I'll be specifically using Windows for that. Windows machine for that. So at that time, we can use those tools. What else can we get from here? Relations, behavior, content. That is something that we observed after running the strings command right now. And let's not get into too much details. Here's some more interesting thing, JS embedded. Maybe we can look for the embedded JS file. Let's see how is it possible, whether we can do it or not. So the tool that I was talking about that I have mentioned previously is peepdf. And using this tool, let's see what does it mean. And why do I specifically use this tool? Because it provides a and it gives a feature, it has a feature that provides an interactive environment to you, and it's kind of fun. It sets a console mode, so I can directly ask for the things that I want to see just being in the interactive mode, and every time I do not have to mention the file name. And that is one of the reason why we should focus or look for tools which are providing such features. It becomes very easy. So here is the option for interactive mode. Before using the interactive mode, we'll run it normally, how we had done it previously. Also, there are some other interesting options also that we can choose. We can choose, sorry, you can script load file, sorry, check VT, the VirusTotal thing that we did right now. Okay, manual analysis. Okay, let us not get into that right now. We are just on the basics and analyzing everything on our own. So I'll simply type the file name and let's see. So we can see it gives us a lot of detail, MD5, hash, all this, the size of this file, version, binary. Encrypted, it says it's not encrypted. Hopefully that will be a very good thing for us. There's only one stream. There are 6 objects. There's no URIs, no comments, no errors. So there is one stream over here, which is encoded. So we can have a look over there. There are objects with JavaScript code. Open action, as I'd mentioned. So whenever you open this PDF file, it is going to do something. JavaScript has been used over here. We'll see if we can, extract this JavaScript. And there is this CV mentioned. Let's see what is there in this CV. Okay, let's start from here, from the MITRE. Okay, so it describes a stack-based buffer overflow in Adobe Acrobat. So it is exploiting this particular CVE, and using that, it is performing all the malicious activity that it wants to. So it used to allow remote attackers to execute arbitrary code. Let me just increase the font a bit. It allows remote attackers to execute arbitrary code via PDF file and cause the util.printf JavaScript function. Okay, so we have whatever, we have not even seen the PDF file entirely, what is present over there. We have not seen any embedded JavaScript. We are going to figure out right now how to extract that JavaScript file. Also, we are going to analyze it on our own currently at this point of time. But even before that, we have found out a lot of interesting information related to that particular PDF file, which is very interesting. First of all, from VT, we came to know, from VirusTotal, we came to know that yes, it is malicious. And there also we saw that it was having some JavaScript embedded within it, into it, sorry. Apart from that, while running that particular tool, peepdf, from there also we came to know that there are embedded JavaScript files over there, and the CVE that it belongs to or that it is referring to, we figured out from that CVE that it is trying to exploit some stack-based buffer overflow in Adobe Acrobat Reader. So, and it is allowing remote attackers to execute arbitrary code. And this is how it is actually trying to perform the malicious activities. So for exploiting this, they have used this particular function util.printf that it is calling, which is a JavaScript function, and this further confirms that it is using a JavaScript. So it has an embedded JavaScript. So moving forward, we will try to spawn the interactive shell interactive environment. As we saw that it was -i, and the name of this file starts with 3. So 3 and tab, it was easier. People from the Linux background would be knowing this, and it is very important for everyone to, have at least some basic idea of, running commands using Linux. Even through Windows, it would be very beneficial to you to know how to write some, know some commands or use command lines. That will be very beneficial. So yes, we saw the same details as we saw previously. We see the same details, and it has given us an interactive environment right now. So what are the options that we can see from here? Let's see. Yes. So the help option gives us what do you want to see from here? What are the things that you want to see? Bytes, create, encode, errors, extract. Are we trying to extract something? Stream, search, what are we trying to search? So we are going to explore this and see what is there. So we can start with not exit. We are going to use it later on. But we are going to check maybe metadata. I'm not sure. Even this is the first time I'm analyzing this file. So let's write metadata and see what is there any information. Okay. Maybe we need to redirect it somewhere. Just writing. We have Visual Studio over here. And there's nothing over here. So we can try to see streams if there's something interesting. As a 6th number, we can see the objects, or we can just click on info before going into those details. Just a second. So it's giving the same basic information that we saw before. Let's try to see the stream. So before that, let us understand what is stream in PDF. So instead of giving you a very, giving you a definition of the entire thing, it's better because that is what I do most of the time, because it's not important for you to know everything, but it is very important that whenever you see something and you're not sure of what is it, it's very important to check it out on Google. So a page in a PDF document has one or more content stream parts that together contain all the page. So contents of the page, any text, any drawings, anything that is mentioned in the PDF. So let's see if we can see something over here. So stream 6. And if we click on this, we can see a lot of information and it's quite interesting. And I think this is the JavaScript and this is the encoding over here. It's very interesting. Let's take it in some other file, 2.txt. And we will check it out over here. Okay. So I'll just convert it into the respective file type. Yeah. So a lot of interesting things that we can see is, have they deobfuscated the code? Well, yes, that's what it looks like. Unescape, we can make use of the unescape command function that they have used and understand what is it, how to do it. Another, okay, where have they used it? So this is quite interesting where we have to de-obfuscate something. So they have actually named the variables in such a gibberish way that it becomes very difficult for us to analyze. So what you can do is you can always rename the variable name so it gets easier for us to understand. So let's try doing that. I'm not going to deobfuscate entirely and maybe we'll see. But this is something that they have found very interesting. From where the peepdf have understood that yes, they're using this particular CVE, and the number of detections on VirusTotal actually confirms that yes, it is malicious. So let's try some sort of deobfuscation here so that you can get an idea. So it has been used twice. Not twice. Let's see where is another time that has been used. Okay, here it has been used. So I'll simply change it into a form that is readable. Right now, even I have no idea what is it trying to do, but I'll just replace it with var1. That too everywhere. So let's do Control F again. Sorry, let me close this and find var1. Yes, so var1 is over here. Let's see, there's another variable that have been used also. So let's change it to var2. Let me see, has it changed? Okay, they have used it. Okay, it has been used thrice actually. Yeah, so it has changed. So you can see var1, var2. For this, let's see how many times it has been used. Okay, it has been used thrice too. So we can change it also. And I'm changing them into var, all of them into var, unless I'm sure of it if it is a function or something else, some other type. So var3, and I'll replace all. So yes, so we have turned it into at least the first 3 lines of the code into something a bit simpler to, view and understand. It may get easier for us. You can, if you have used, if you have done programming before, we most of the time use I or J over here. So you can change it to anything that you want that is understandable to you. You don't have to, it does not have to be necessarily be related to something that I'm showing you on the YouTube or anybody else who is, showing you. You can do it anything that is comfortable to you. Just give me 1 second. I hope it's visible. I'm extremely sorry if it was not. So basically what I have done over here is I've changed the variable name, the gibberish names of the variables over here to something that is simpler for us to read. So let's see how many times it has been used. So it gets easier for us. Okay, it has been used thrice too. So we'll also change it into var3 is already there. So we'll change it into var4. And we'll do replace all. And well, it gets very easier. The next step would be before changing all of them. Actually, it is better that if we change them all. But it would be very useful that later you have to combine these two. So we have to analyze this as well. var2 is nothing. It's just nothing. So var4 is basically unescape. var1, they've used unescape function over here, and I'll show you how to use that too. Before that, let's change this also. It has been used to how many times? It has been used 7 times. So we can simply change it to var5 and replace all. Cool. Let's change this. I'm directly changing all of them instead of changing them, analyzing or seeing each of them one by one. And it gets so simpler right now. So this is one of the steps for deobfuscation. Trust me, you do not get such kind of files all the time. They are much more complicated. And later on, we'll be analyzing those kinds of files too. But later on, that will be a bit more advanced. I guess we are almost done and it's quite interesting. I've just changed them to different variable, var1, var2 kind of things. Okay. var11. And we are done. So it becomes very simpler. Now the next part would be understanding what is this? What is Unescape? What is it trying to do from Unescape? Hex. Looks like it's hex, right? So the next step, and trust me, this is one of the very simplest deobfuscation that we are doing currently, and that is why I'm moving forward with this. And I have done this much because the piece of code is very small. But later in future, we will be actually analyzing, we'll be deobfuscating the codes all by ourselves, and we'll be analyzing those, the tricky ones, in fact, not just the simpler ones. But this video was just to give you an idea of what to do in case of PDF files. So here we have extracted the JavaScript. We will look into the unescape functions and everything in a while. But before that, let's look into this peepdf again. Let's click on, let's type help and see what else can we do. So again, I'll type info so that I can get a lot of information from here. So if I want to see this JavaScript code, and if I use this underscore code, and where is this? Objects. Let's see what do we get. So is it the same one or is it different? We have already changed it. So anyways, no, it is the same. It does look like the same. Maybe they have used the same gibberish variable names. So we have already extracted the JavaScript out. So there are different ways through streams, through JavaScript code. You already have the help option over here to go through. And that is very important for for everyone who is learning to go through and explore all these options. These are really going to help you and understand. And it's completely fine to have these have different kinds of errors and troubleshooting those errors, especially in the beginning part. So let's move ahead with understanding what is unescape and escape function. So have they escaped it somewhere? No, they have just unescaped it. They have used just the unescape function over here. Let's just go through that, and then we are, good with the PDF file analysis, at least the basics. Let me know in the comment section if you have some more questions. But for now, for simple PDF, malicious PDF file analysis, this is one approach that you can follow. Of course, there are other tools too. And I'm just here showing you the tools, the open source tools that I'm comfortable with, the operating system I'm comfortable with. But it is completely up to you. But yeah, the approach would be kind of same. The things that we are trying to do would be kind of same, like using some other tools. For example, PDF ID is another tool, or PDF parser, I guess there's another tool. So from there also, when you check out the structure of the PDF file or while you are analyzing that PDF file. And if you happen to see an embedded file, most probably if it's a JavaScript, so that is the thing that you try to do is extract that out. So the approach or the process remains the same, although the way that you're trying to do depends on the kind of tool that you are dependent on at that particular time. So that is the only thing that differs, and this is not just for PDF file analysis, for any kind of file analysis. So you can do all these things in Windows too. Just make sure that you do not use the original extension, because in Linux you do not open the file just by most of the time we do not do that in Linux, although you can. But since I mostly use terminal, so I do not use a file or open the file directly from the GUI. But in Windows, since it is very GUI friendly, so we happen to open it that way. And in Windows, if any extension is mentioned over there, even if it is not, it tries to run it that way. So that is one of the reasons. So you be it a Linux environment or Windows environment, make sure that you change the extension and make sure that you do not open the file unless you're sure of it. So let's move ahead with the Unescape part right now. Unescape function in JavaScript. So it computes a new string in which hexadecimal escape sequences are replaced with the characters that it represents. Okay. So if you know JavaScript, you'd be knowing what is it trying to say. So basically, in a very simplest term, it is having some characters, and the escape will convert it to the ASCII values that is readable, not the actual character values that would be readable to us. That's what it's saying, replace with characters that it represents. So something that will be readable and won't look as if it is encoded. So let's see if we can use. Why am I using this? Because this will be easier for us to analyze from here. You can do it from any other tool, or if you can do it on yourself, that is also completely fine. Now, since we are already using something like we are using a malicious file, which we have taken from the net, actually from VirusTotal or from any.run. So it is okay if you have to, re-upload it in VirusTotal. Also, it is okay for this situation to use the strings present over there. But in case you're in your company and you have to analyze a malware sample that has not been analyzed before, so either you can use the hash in VirusTotal, but only the hash would be better for you, using it to understand that whether it has been detected before or not. Otherwise, you make sure that you're not using any specific strings out of that file in an open source tool. I mean online tool, not open source, my bad. So I'll be using this since this malicious file is already available and we don't have to worry about it. So let's see what result do we get, or whether we are going to get any result or not. So I'll simply copy. It's huge. Okay. Sorry, my bad. I cannot click on the end. Okay. Just give me 1 second. Well, this is a huge file and it is actually taking some time to copy. So we'll just copy half of them just to see what is present over there. So we'll move here and just so we'll use Unescape and let's see if we can get something interesting. Okay, so we have to again decode this as well. So as you can see, this is again some kind of encoding and we will have to check what to do, what is it, and it is going to take some more time and it's a huge text. So we can check what is happening over here. So this is another that we can try to see. This is a smaller one. We should have taken this before. So make sure if you're using if you have received a sample file from your organization, do not use it or, do not use these kinds of online tools for that. You'll have to use the editors that you have in your machine, in your local machine. Okay, so after unescape, we can see substring. There are a lot of things that it has performed. We are not going to analyze each of them, but I hope I've given you some idea of what to do. We have to further analyze it, and I'll have to check because this is also my first time that I'm analyzing this particular file. So we will be analyzing different kinds of malware samples from the very beginning to the end. Once I complete the basics and I complete with giving you some basic idea about, how to use these tools, how to analyze the specific files separately. So once we are done, we'll be good to go with with moving ahead with the complete analysis of the files of the samples, because there is a lot of things that we are still to cover and we already have covered some of the things too. So that's it for today's video. I'm not going to complete this right now because it is going to take a lot of time and we will save such kind of file types for later. So see you all in the next video. Well, I'll be analyzing some other kind of file type. Let me know in the comment section if there is a specific kind of file that you want to analyze, and if I can do that, I'll be doing it. Otherwise, I'll be analyzing some maybe a shortcut file or maybe an L file or a PE file. Let's see. So thank you so much. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and see you in the next video.